Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And we do full-length car reviews each and every week, and we came up with a segment called Questions, Coffee, and Cars. It's halfway through each video, and you liked it, so we spun it off into its own thing. We're at number 43, and how do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. I put a post out every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time. It stays up for a short time. Once we gather all of our questions, the post is deleted.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Absolutely love your show. Thank you. In the Outlander plug-in hybrid video, you mentioned it has a heat pump. Can you please explain what that is in a car and what it does and why it matters that the PHEV has it? So a heat pump draws air from the outside, compresses it, then uses the heat from the condenser to raise the temperature in either the battery or the car's interior.
So why that matters, if you want to have heat in the cabin of a vehicle and it doesn't have a gas engine, you have to use what's called resistance heat. Yeah. So if you know electricity goes through a light bulb and resistance creates the filament to light up, and that's how you have light. Or a baseboard heater, the electricity goes through and resistance creates the heat. But if you do that, you're using a lot more energy than this way.
Yeah, for sure. Move Electric did a real world test. So they had a plug-in hybrid with a heat pump and then one without. And the results showed that the one with the heat pump did fall short to the EPA range by 25.4%, but the one that didn't have the heat pump fell short 33.6%. So you can see obviously that there is a difference, and I would rather have a heat pump in a plug-in hybrid than not.
I kind of jumped ahead of myself there because I was talking about, full EVs, right?
Yeah.
There's no internal combustion engine. Now I'm just thinking, you mentioned the Outlander.
Yes.
That does have a gas engine, and plug-in hybrids will use, if it doesn't have a heat pump, will use the gasoline engine to create cabin heat.
That's right.
So that's for plug-ins. Regular electric vehicles need that resistance heat if they don't have heat pumps.
Exactly. And so what some people might do is when they're charging their plug-in hybrid, leave it on the charge, start up their vehicle and heat the cabin that way to protect their range as well. They do that with full electric vehicles too.
Not good for your car.
Not good for your
Starting
car.
your car. Okay, I'm going to go on a rant, Andrea.
Okay.
So we have everybody's like, oh, it's all about the environment. We should protect the environment. Hey, I'm all down for protecting the environment too. So if you want to do that, the worst thing you can do, first for your car and for the environment, is start your car with one of those remote starts.
I know. People love it.
Yeah, let it sit in the driveway to warm up the cabin. That's when your car is the most inefficient. And it's also when your vehicle pollutes the most. When you start it up, it has to get the catalytic converter warm before it starts reducing emissions. So starting your car and letting it idle clogs up your car, clogs up the environment. Don't do that.
But what happens if it's so cold out and you want a nice warm car and it's parked outside and you don't have a garage?
You can actually add heaters, you know that, for your car?
Yeah, I heard that.
That run off the gas or diesel.
Yeah.
And they use a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And they're very popular in Germany. For this car, for example, that we're in, you could order it with a heater.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. But we live in Vancouver and it's not too bad.
One brand that makes them is, I think it's called Wabosco. They make them for RVs.
Hi guys, you're both so informative and helpful about the automotive world. Thank you. My current lease on my Audi Q7 is ending in February. I was hoping to get a plug-in hybrid luxury 7-8 SUV, 7 to 8 passenger. My heart was set on the Lexus TX, but after your reviews, they only offer a 6-seater, correct? So now I'm torn between leasing a Volvo XC90 Recharge or the Lincoln Aviator GT.
So Volvo's been at it the longest. Then they added more range to that XC90. I always get CX90 and XC90 mixed up.
Both actually feel very luxurious inside. Both offer a refined drive, smooth. I would say that they both do a great job with that. However, J.D. Power has not rated the plug-in hybrids of either vehicle yet, but I do have the Volvo XC90 getting a 75 out of 100 for reliability from J.D. Power, and the Aviator 81 out of 100.
That's much better.
Much better. However, they both have their issues. I pulled some stuff Volvo has acknowledged in only 39 reports. So this isn't affecting every XC90 plug-in hybrid. But in some cases, the vehicles wouldn't start, and in other cases, messages appeared in the instrument cluster warning of reduced performance or charging issues. And the Aviator plug-in hybrid was recalled over high voltage battery defect, which could cause battery failure.
Well, these are very small things. They're not small things. They're a big deal if it happens to you.
Yes.
But it's not affecting a vast majority of them.
No.
The other thing about that Lexus, by the way, is not available for about a year.
I know.
And so it's kind of slim pickings for 7-8 passenger plug-ins.
Really is.
There you go.
I would probably take the XC90 myself. I don't know. I just like Volvo interiors. I think they're quite beautiful. And like you said, they've been doing it.
The other thing is
wow.
the XC90 and the Q7 are similar in size, so you'll be used to that size.
Andrea and Zach, always enjoy your content, informative and entertaining. Thank you. I especially liked your recent walk around of the new Toyota Crown Signia. We plan to get a new car in about a year, and the Signia will certainly be on our short list. Love the looks and the lower wagon styling. I know typically you don't recommend getting the first model year of a new car, but would you both still give the advice with Toyota, who has such great reliability? And then he also follows up with, do you think a plug-in hybrid is coming?
Well, we don't know about the plug-in hybrid, but I would say that you've got to remember that they don't just invent a whole new drivetrain for one car.
No.
Right? That's the same drivetrain that's used in many other Toyota products.
Mm-hmm.
So that part has been worked out. The closest vehicle on specs that we could come up with was the Lexus NX hybrid.
Yeah.
Has roughly the same power as this Crown.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, they're all running on the same platform.
For sure.
So underneath the car, so the engine, the hybrid system, the platform, they're all similar, and then they build up what they want it to be. I would say I'd have no problem getting one in its first year, and I think this thing is going to be a smash.
A smash. It's just I think, so does Zach. We both think it's such a great looking vehicle, but it's going to be spendy.
We don't know the price.
Oh, it's going to be spendy.
But here's the other thing is that a lot of people didn't know this, and it kind of snuck into our trip when we were in California for the LA Auto Show, is that they quietly announced that, yes, the Venza is going away after 2024, will be the last model year for Venza.
Yeah.
And then here comes the Crown Signia. I think that's kind of where they're positioning that vehicle.
Well, you'll be able to get a Venza until summer of 2024, and then they're going to end production of that. Don't feel nervous about getting a Venza just because they are eliminating it. I mean, you might be able to get a good deal, or if you like it, it really doesn't matter. They're going to have parts for this vehicle to fix it.
Well, and same thing, it's common with the RAV4.
Exactly. And one thing to mention about the Signia is that it comes with a tire repair kit. It doesn't have a temporary spare tire.
So price is going to be interesting. So Venza, a slight premium over RAV4.
Yeah.
I think you'll see the RAV4 is going to come out for 2025. Prices will go up. Yeah. Everything's going up. They're not going down. So this one is not
with all brands.
Ain't going to be cheap.
First-time car buyer, Mazda CX50 or RAV4 XLE Premium Gas, looking to keep it long-term.
So RAV4 XLE?
Yes.
For long-term? I say either of them. I don't have a dog in the fight. I think that it's, yeah.
Okay, so I thought the same. Interestingly
enough,
Mazda, first thing I thought to myself was, either or, Mazda is reliable.
So one of them's crap in the bed?
Reliable. Mm-hmm. Whoa. So the Mazda CX50, JD
Wait
Power.
a second. I got to put my seatbelt on for this.
This is hot off the press.
Okay.
I didn't even know this. CX50 gets a reliability score of 70 out of 100 from JD Power.
Wow.
Now, I did some digging because I couldn't believe that. I thought it was going to come up like the RAV4 at 81 out of 100 from JD Power. So here is it. I went on some forums.
Tell me the news, Andrea. Why is it not doing well?
So, CX50 owners are saying rattles from the sunroof, intermittent transmission jerk at low speeds, wireless charging doesn't always work, defective windshield, heated seats not working properly, steering wheel makes a squeaky sound, and on and on. I mean, those are just some of them. Mazda has recalled the 2023 CX50 model, some of them, not all of them. The anti-lock brake system hydraulic control unit may be damaged, which could result in reduced braking ability. Before you jump in, Zach, I just want to add The CX5, which you might be interested in, gets a great reliability score at 82 out of 100.
So recalls are common in the industry. Just because a brand has a recall doesn't mean it's not a good car. I mean, these are sometimes batch issues, like there's a batch of something they put in the car that's not quite up to snuff. So I just want to feel a little validated here, Andrea, because in our recent videos of the CX90,
I know.
I was Mr. Doom and Gloom over here saying I would wait to see how the CX90...
People were angry about that.
And then people jumped on me and they said, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And I just said, I know Mazda's history over the years. They have had very high quality scores and they've had very low quality scores. Typically, when they bring out a new car, the quality scores take a while to get up to that top-notch level. It doesn't mean they can't do it, but so what's new about the CX50? What did they put in?
They put in a sunroof.
They put in a big panel roof. What's one of the complaints? The big panel roof squeaks.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of teething things that brands have to deal with. So there you go.
So on these forums of CX50 owners, the concern is because it's a newer model, should they have waited and let it kind of work out?
Should they have bought a
some
Signia?
of this stuff? You don't know. So some of them are saying, look, I think give it a year with the CX70 and give it a year with the CX90 just so that they can work out their
We like the
issues.
car. I think we both
I'm
enjoy
a huge Mazda fan.
Yeah, I mean, we liked it. We liked driving it. And you would think it's kind of logical. You say, well, it's the same engine they use in the CX5. It's the same transmission they use in the CX5. It's a similar platform. There's a lot of commonality. The interiors are modified versions of the same thing. But it's all of this teething that they have to go through. And the only brand that really does cars that are new without many teething problems, now they still have them too.
Yeah, they have them.
It's Toyota Lexus.
Well, and Toyota has a recall on the RAV4 as well. It's based on a replacement 12-volt battery that is just not secured. So they're trying to they're working on a fix for it. They're going to let their customers know it's 2013 to 2018 models. So it's not the new model.
That's
it's
the last
older
generation.
models. That's right. That's correct.
That's kind of like a batch thing again. Like they put in the bracket to hold the battery. They got to put a new bracket in.
I just want to add that when this question came in, I thought, well, what a great question, because I really like the CX50 as you do, Zach, and we like the RAV4. And I was actually just going to go out on a limb and say, boy, both are great, go for it. And then I thought, you know what, get some JD Power numbers
Get
here.
those numbers.
Yeah, and then I dug, and I'm really shocked about it. I actually thought it was quite reliable.
What did Doug say?
What car did you own that invokes the most pleasant memories for each of you? Why don't you go first? I'll have my coffee.
When I first met Andrea, that's the car I remember the most.
Come on. Say your car.
Well, you tell me what car.
For me or
No,
for you?
for me.
I would say that it was probably the M6. No, one of his 911s. Probably the red one.
The red one.
Yeah,
I had a
thought so.
993 Carrera S. Super. You know what they're going for now?
I know,
They're
fortune. Should have just kept it.
The whole thing with having an old air-cooled 911, they're beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
The best thing about owning an old 911 is telling everybody else you own one. That's the honest truth. People, I've got a 993 Carrera S. You have a 9? Oh, let me see pictures of it. Well, here they are.
Every time he pulled away from the garage, it was so loud. Like everybody turned.
I had a special
lights.
exhaust on it. I had two 993s. So those are kind of like a high watermark. I sold it, made money on it, but the thing is that the market just kept going. But owning an old 911, it costs a lot to keep them going.
It does, yeah.
And so, you only realize all that money when you go to sell it. And if you don't sell it, you never realize the money.
No. And
Okay.
my God, what an absolutely stunning car.
I would say for Andrea, it was the old Dodge Colt.
No. For me, it is our first Porsche Cayenne. It was dark gray, and it did everything well. It had enough space for the kids. We were in car seats. They were easy to load in and out of the car. But I just have fond memories of going places with the kids. They're older now. They were little. You know, we went to Science World in Vancouver. The minute we left Science World, I turned and looked at them in the car seat, and they were both passed out. There were times that one of them wouldn't sleep, and I brought one in, and Zach took off with the other in the car to get him to sleep. And it's just, I always have fond memories of that particular vehicle, and it's probably because of the kids.
And we now have 3. We're on our 3rd Cayenne.
Yeah.
Are we all done, Andrea?
We're all done.
How do you get a question in if you want to get one in for the next one?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday at 7 a.m. Pacific time, I put a post out. It's only up for a short time. We gather our questions and then we start the show. See you next time.
Next time.